The Big East started with 7 wins out of 8 games, but had that one big loss. We're going to talk about it here on the weekly show on Big East Energy. Welcome to Big East Energy Weekly. I'm your host, Mark Zanetto, along with my co-host, as always, Casey Matthews of Roll Jays. Yeah, man, the Big East got off to a really great start, and then we got to that night game that started at 10 o'clock Eastern, and Nova, they looked good at the beginning. They kind of lost it, and then they made it a game. It was a really competitive. They won the second half, but unfortunately, all that really matters is they got an L in what will likely be a quad 1 loss in a neutral site game against BYU and AJ Devonta. What are your initial thoughts?
I mean, on that game specifically, I think if you're a Nova fan, you're actually feeling good. I mean, I know you
really
lost. Yeah, because there's so much uncertainty. This isn't like a team that you know what to expect. If you're a Villanova fan, you really didn't know what to expect. So I think, go ahead.
Do I need to remind you of the Kevin Willard response at Media Day, which was essentially, if you've never described a Big East game to someone, what would it be? And his essentially was, it's like the quintessential Northeast. It's rougher, it's tougher, and everything that goes with it. And that has nothing to do with regionality. It's to do with the fan base that's specifically in that area in Philly. I don't think there's any Villanova fan. Maybe not any, but if there's a Villanova fan that's happy about that game, they're very Mr. Brightside, and that's cool. Like I think that's something that you can. There's no wrong in that, but
I think you can not be happy but feel good at the same time. I'm not saying that they're like going to work like, did you see our squad? I'm just saying you can at least like have your head held, like, okay, we went toe to toe with a top 10 team in a neutral site in game 1 of Kevin Willard's tenure at Villanova. If this is the starting point,
yeah,
you have to feel good. You got to feel like, okay, we can compete with some of the best teams in the country, which I don't know that you could really feel that way over the last couple of years. That's all I'm saying. I'm not in any way saying you're like, we're making the tournament. We're like, no. There's still concerns, but I don't think they're not in a position now where it's like, oh man, this is going to be another one of those years. This is going to be a good season for them. And, again, remember we've talked about this last week. I give Willard probably a lot more leeway this year because of the timing that he came in last year and building that roster. So that's why I feel the way I do. Like, again, if I'm Villanova, I'm not going to work today like, hell yeah, like you see us now, we're back, like our boy Owen, like we're back. Like I'm sure Owen went. I mean, he'd go to work. He still goes to high school, but he's probably in face paint today.
That's basically work. That's basically work today nowadays. Like he's like traveling in the city to get to places, dude. Like if I was his age and like I was going around New York City, I'd be like, oh my god, like I give Owen a ton of credit. But no, you're right. I think I'll tell you what, man. Like it's got to be frustrating for our friend Matt Janis, who does the Holy Nova show. Go check that out. He's fantastic. Is a couple of things. One. And I know, and I'm going to defer to you on this because I feel like there's definitely part of the reason why you started at Caden Lewis is because he's your 5-star freshman. But man, Bryce Lindsey carried them from the moment he stepped on the floor, played 27 minutes more than a Caden, and he's their guy. Like when he transferred from James Madison, I know UConn was in the mix a little early, so I know him really well. I mean, he shot 50%. He was 5 of 9 from 3. He was a star. He's the reason why that team even had a chance in this game. And Duke Brennan had 15 rebounds. They definitely needed more of that. They didn't shoot it well. They were 10 of 35 from 3, which is less than 30%, if you're wondering. But it's just to me, I wonder if there's a part of Willard that if it's like looking at it and going, you know what? If this was an NIL era, there's no way Caden starts. We start Bryce. Maybe we get off to a better start versus having to bring him in when you're already down, or kind of the Band-Aid stopgap. It's like almost like appeasing. And I'm not saying Caden's a good player. Don't get me wrong. He's going to be a really good player for them. But the kind of like don't hurt feelings mentality that we're in today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the thing to always remember in these scenarios is agents, AAU coaches, high school coaches, they hold everything against you. So if you go and play on national television against the top recruit in the country, you don't play your 5-star kid, I guarantee you every agent that is involved in a recruit that Villanova is looking at right now is going to say, what's the deal? So you're right in that sense of like, if this was just based on merit, I don't know, because I haven't seen practice. And honestly, I didn't pay a lot of close attention to their exhibitions. But my assumption would be you got to start them because of everything that comes along with it. Now, he's also a really good player. So I think you're probably splitting hairs in some ways. And if
but just look at if we're I'm not mean to cut you off, but like I get all that, but like just all you have to do is the reason why Kevin knows this, and so do you. Like, you know, like if you're a coach and you know that you have these opportunities in big games, who are you playing? Unless you have an AJ DeBonsa, or you have a Boozer twin, or you have a Koa Pete or somebody like that is like undeniable. Caden is not undeniable. He's a 5-star, but he's a shorter point guard. And then you got Bryce Lindsey, who was a 13, 14 point a game scorer at James Madison, who comes in his first game at the high major level and scores 22 points and has 5 rebounds and 2 assists and shoots it at almost 60% from 3. I just think if we're talking about a missed opportunity, I think if they don't make the NCAA tournament this year, which is likely going to be the case, they can go back to this game and go, man, I just wish we could go back to the old ways of being like, you know, it's based off of merit. It's based off of, I don't know. I think Bryce Lindsey's played something like 60 games in his college career already. Caden Lewis hasn't proven anything at this level. So I don't care if he's better in practice. Like, that's a bunch of horse shit. I mean, Tim Tebow apparently was the worst practice player of all time, and then would go in and, like, you know, get all these crazy comebacks. I mean, he had a certain, you know, there was a ceiling to his game, and maybe there's a ceiling to Bryce Lindsey's game. But if you're trying to just win games, you do it at any cost. If you're a college coach,
the perspective is valid. If I'm the head coach, I'm probably rolling the same way, though. Honestly, I
take that L too.
Maybe, but at the same time, like Bryce hit, was it 5 threes? Like
5 of 9.
You know, like if he misses, you know, if he hits 2, if he hits 2 less and he shoots 33%, right, which is a good, decent percentage. You're singing a much different tune today in regards to head to head. So
that's true. But if you look at it from this perspective, he played 27 minutes not starting. Caden played 22 minutes starting. If you start Bryce Lindsey and the rotation is with Bryce Lindsey and you're bringing in a Caden Lewis to spell him or even play together at times, like a lot of rotations do, then maybe a Caden only plays 17, 16 minutes, but he has a more efficient game and he's not asked to do too much and he gets more confidence, has the ability to move forward. And Bryce Lindsey plays 5 more minutes and he has 25 points because he hits another 3 because he had another opportunity. So these are the little, listen, and I don't mean to be like, I don't want to be the one that lectures someone that's literally done this and actually been on the sidelines.
I don't take it that way.
Okay, so but like what I'm saying is like all of these games in particular, if it's a 2-possession game, are one on the margins. It's not really one on, you know, one specific possession here and there, but like the decisions you make, maybe even roster wise, they come back to bite you. I know firsthand with UConn. That Dan Hurley was incredibly stubborn with multiple players last year because he brought them in under the guise of there are, you know, transfer portal guys, etc.
Right.
That he should have absolutely made a switch on much earlier in the year. I just don't want to see that happen with a Nova team that I actually think looks pretty damn good.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to see it. I think there's a lot of factors at play. I just, again, you can't it's very easy to look at these games in a vacuum and say, just look at this game alone. But there's implications for everything.
Sure.
And this implication, it certainly could be. We're talking about this on tournament, you know, when the tournament's coming out and you're like, well, if they would have won this game, that absolutely That absolutely could happen. I'll give you another scenario though, in that maybe starting a Caden Lewis is a big deal for him from a confidence perspective. And if you don't start him, maybe that hurts him. There's just a lot of different factors. So here's where it's probably a cheesy and the easy way out, but when I look at coaches that I trust, Coach Willard's one of them. My guess is he saw something that led him to believe starting that lineup is going to help him win. And I'm just going to have to roll with him on that decision. It's, but I definitely understand the other perspective, right? I don't think it's like crazy to think that way, especially when the dude has 22 and looks like he did. I think the bigger question mark when I look at it and really look at is going to be Devin Askew and what does he give you this year? Because, obviously he had the injury and it's exciting that he ended up getting back and able to play. But that to me is, and I don't have a stat line in front of me, but that to me is going to be interesting. And I really do believe he's the key for them.
I think you're right. He played 12 minutes, and Matt told me pregame that he was going to play, limited minutes anyway. So, that's why you saw a little more Chris Jeffrey. You saw Malachi Palmer off the bench. So I think you're right. But also, can someone else help Bryce Lindsey in that game shooting the ball? I'm not trying to pick on Caden. He's only shot 4 threes and really just didn't have a great game all around first game out. Devin Askew was 0 for 3 from 3. You had Matt Hodge, who had probably more open threes than me in my backyard right now. He was 1 of 7. Tyler Perkins, 1 of 6. So I'm not piling on a Caden. I'm just talking about that one in particular point guard to point guard exchange.
Yeah.
And the only guy off the bench, Chris Jeffrey, was 1 of 2. Malachi Palmer went 1 of 3, and then Tafari Gapari, I don't even know if that's how you say his name, went 0 for 1. So it's just an interesting mix. I think they're going to be pretty good, and to hold a team that kind of has a set rotation of 8 guys that they're going to play, and kind of hold your own while you're playing 9-10 guys yourself. One guy that was limited, and then another guy that you kind of just had to throw in there because of that. I do think that there's a good opportunity for Villanova to build off of this. So,
yeah.
All right. Let's move on we have a bunch of other games. That was the biggest one, so I want to spend the most time on it. But the ticker right now, Marquette 80, Albany 53, Seton Hall 77, St. Peter's 50, Georgetown 87, Morgan State 70. Of those games, which of the games did you think were you most surprised at the score, or were you kind of like, that's probably the best question. Which of those scores surprised you the most, and which of those teams you think has a lot more work to do?
Of the ones that are ones on the ticket?
The Marquette, Seton Hall, and Georgetown games.
Honestly, none of them surprised me. I think this time of year, you better be winning games like that if you're playing those opponents. Morgan State was actually winning that game early,
right?
And I was watching that game, and but that doesn't really bother me, right? Like the thing is when you look at those matchups, the guys in the Morgan State locker room, they're playing for a lot more than the guys in the Georgetown locker room, and so you get that fire, you get more of that sense of urgency to come out early and play hard. So it's not uncommon at all to be losing in some of these games. I was a part of multiple at Creighton where you really get that second half and you're like, all right, guys, like, come on, like it's time now, because the longer you let that team hang around, the more confidence that they get, and they really do start to believe like they can hang with you. So so none of it really surprised me. Like if I'm Georgetown though, I am like, okay, like, yeah, we won by 17, and it was a bigger margin than that, I believe, late, but it just, they scored a couple buckets late, but that would be the only one. And that would be me like really searching for something to really like pick on. Marquette handled Albany. I thought they looked good. Seton Hall, obviously Brian thinks they're going to win the national championship now after beating St. Peter's by 27. I have to caution people there. St. Peter's tallest player is 6'9". So the baby Shaq stuff is maybe a tad premature, but we'll see. But yeah, none of them shocked me. Was there anything that really surprised you?
I honestly, the Seton Hall score surprised me, not because of the margin of victory, but because of like it's become, and this is like kind of a negative thing, but also it's a positive at the same time. I'm rooting. I mean, all the kidding aside with Brian, I'm rooting for Seton Hall to be better. I don't want. We talked about this on the spaces that we did. We've talked about this ad nauseum as a group. The bottom of the league has to come up so that the entire league looks better. So that's, to me, that's why that Nova loss is a bigger miss than I think most people are going to think about, because that's an opportunity lost. If Seton Hall comes in and wins that game, like, we're going to get the other ticker, like the way Xavier beat Marist, and then that to me that's a concern. If the way Providence barely beats Holy Cross, and I know Providence fans are going to kill me on that because maybe it was a lot. I didn't watch the game, so
they were up bigger than their margin.
Okay, fine. However, when you have a fan base that either has expectations like Providence or doesn't have expectations like Seton Hall, and you see the scores and you see the box score and you see the kind of the flow and how things are being said on Twitter and all that stuff, because that's also a good indication. You can kind of tell the tenor of the fan base by just looking at the comments, right? And Seton Hall fans are jazzed up, as they should be.
Yeah,
dude, if you beat a team by 30 when you were in like the quad 4 conversation last year as a team, you 1,000% should get excited about this win. Fucking go pop champagne, dude. Get excited. It's you're not winning the national championship. You're probably not going to win, more than 7 games in the Big East, if that. Who cares? It's about building now, and the guys that they have in that locker room are excited, and that's going to continue to build confidence. The same thing could be said about Georgetown. They kind of took a step back. They're probably feeling themselves about the Kentucky, exhibition win, that quad 0 win that they got. That doesn't matter, right? Did you see the rare quad 5 loss from Boise State? They lost to Division II, like Hawaii Pacific or something like that, 79-78. It doesn't count towards their resume. So if they win a bunch of games and they're I think they're in the Pac-12 now. So if they win a bunch of games, that doesn't count, which is also a crap thing too. Like if you play a Division II team and you lose that, you should lose like 7 wins off your record. Like, I don't even care. That's the dumbest, dude. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Like Bethune-Cookman took Auburn to overtime. Good for them. But that's a Division I school. It's been a Division I school for years. That's insane. Like that it doesn't count towards your record is wild to me. But that's kind of my take right now.
The Big East. I know this is the Big East energy, but a school I really like is Idaho, and they beat Eastern. They beat Washington State last night. Matt Pribble's their head coach. I think he's a really good coach, young guy that's coming up, really good dude, and so that was a fun one. But I agree. Like this time of year, man, like you can, I don't know, like if you're Washington State, that's not good. I mean, you're 9 miles away, like you got to beat Idaho, right? But you don't have super high tournament expectations. This one isn't going to kill you in that regard. It just kills your fan base and the excitement around your team. But yeah, losing to a Division II team, not a good look for Boise State. But I don't know. So I know you're going to ask me about these ones. Before, I want to ask you.
Ask me. Come on, baby.
Like, I watched, not all of it, but I watched some of that UConn game.
Yeah.
And it's, again, knowing the opponent matters, okay, in this regard. If you just look at scores and don't factor in like they played, you're doing yourself a disservice. But I just looked on the court and was like, God, these dudes are big. Like, I'm talking UConn, like they're big and athletic. And it was just, I don't know why yesterday it really just sort of stuck out to me. Maybe because I was flipping through some of the other Big East games and it just, I don't know. What are your takeaways other than, I mean, you just can't get much from the game itself. I'm more of looking at like, how do they look? How do they look together? And they just this early in the season, man, it's scary to me how good they looked.
I think you're like, you look at it from a different perspective. I did not think they looked good, really at all. But I'm
really,
I chose on the and I'm going to tell you why. And I'm not really off of what Dan said after the game either. Do you know that Dan left the court and he usually, he'll high five the student section behind the baseline that's in Gamble. Yeah. And as he did that, he literally looked at all of them and said, I'm sorry to like every single person that he was high fiving. And it's not anything other than, he's talked about this a bunch. There's playing well, and then there's playing to a standard that he is accustomed to. And he also gave a lot of credit to University of New Haven, which is, and I'm gonna say this because you have a great perspective because you've been on the bench before, sure. and you've seen some of this. But one of the things that I've definitely noticed in college basketball over the last 10 years in particular is the ability for a good coach at the D2 or lower D1 level, when they're given resources to then go and find players to actually have competent, like really well structured offense, have guys that are fully bought in, and have one last chip on this. Okay. University of New Haven made the move from D2 to D1. They've won a national championship at the D2 level. Okay. Ted, I had his name up a second ago, and I don't want to butcher it. Ted Hodelang has been the coach there for 16 years. It's not the same team that won the Division II national championship. He bought in. They allowed him to get 21 players, 10 players in the portal, 21 total players. They can only dress 15. Okay, just like the regular rules, because it was like such a fast move to Division I. They had like 4 kids there from the state of Connecticut. They had 2 kids who played from the state of Connecticut. Everything I thought was 100% the case. The beat reporters at the end of the game asked them questions like, how did you feel out there? Man, it's been my dream to play against UConn since I was a kid, or to play on this court since I was a kid. 2 of those players had career games against UConn, like hitting fadeaways, like doing things that, in tennis, we call that treeing. You're playing out of you're playing about in the trees. And those 2 players in particular, it was number 23, number 22. One guy's from Bridgeport. Another guy was from another area in Connecticut. And they just didn't ever back down. Why would you? This is your only shot to play in Connecticut. Or think about this. The way college basketball is now, dude, if you're the 1 or 2 good guys on a mid-major and Dan Hurley sees you and goes, hey, man, put a pin in that guy. We can go get him next year. That's how you got Dwayne Karoma on this team last year. He had 17 points and 7 rebounds against UConn for Lemoyne last year. And I said on my show after the game, I said, don't be surprised if Dan Hurley doesn't go get Dwayne Karoma. Yeah. Guess where Dwayne Karoma's playing this year? They're playing 15, 20 minutes a game. So, like, any of those kids, this European kid, Pashaw, who's, like, doing all this crazy stuff, trying to hit threes and stuff, like 6'10" kid. So that's the stuff that you don't see. Like, and I'll be honest, I wish I could watch every single one of these games and break it down the same way I do UConn. Because I think if I'm watching the Holy Cross Providence game, if I'm watching the Marist game, there's probably some of that too. But this game in particular, because it's a Connecticut school versus a Connecticut school, that was the overall theme, is that fans were disappointed, but they also have to look at the perspective of, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for New Haven to kind of, make their mark. And some of those kids really took advantage of it.
Interesting. I mean, I'm glad I prefaced what I said with, I was flipping through games because I must have just caught really good moments, because
it's spurts. You caught a spurt.
I must have seen the spurts because I was watching it like, and this is without Terrace. Like, holy cow.
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge thing without Terrace. No Braylon. Jacob Furf, he sprained his ankle, so he's out there without two key contributors. One guy that's going to play a few minutes a game. So yeah, man, like all in all, I did a live reaction show. I usually do them for like 40 minutes. I did it for like 20 minutes. I was like, it was kind of like a meh game. Not much you can take away from it. Missing probably our most important player in Terrace. Because that game is total. They win that game by 40 with Terrace.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, I think the other ones too, right? Like DePaul played really well. I mean,
DePaul played great.
Like, I don't know. I mean,
but still, that's another one. Like, but again, those games, dude, like, that's a DePaul team a couple years back. Do they beat Chicago State? Is it competitive? Yes.
Yeah.
And not anymore.
No, but I think the expectations are higher now. So like, I don't know. I just don't know how much you can take from that one. Same thing with St. John's. Like, that was, I watched.
They look good.
Very little.
St. John's look good.
Yeah.
Listen, Quinnipiac is a very good mid-major team. Don't get it twisted. That team is going to compete in the MAC, and they could win their tournament and give a 15 versus 2, give them fits because Amari Monroe is a really good player. They just didn't. That's just not a good matchup for them. St. John's just way too physical.
There's not many good matchups for St. John's, man. They're good, man. They're really good.
They're really good. And I say that, and I'm not trying to suck up to St. John's fans, but I'm telling you, man, like I really enjoyed watching. I like Josan Sonan. He is like coming off the bench.
Yeah. You saw who started? I mean, which is so funny. We talked about it, like, with Ian Jackson. It's like, come on, man. Like, Ian Jackson.
Did you hear Rick after the game? What he said about Ian Jackson?
No, what did he say? He
sucks. God. No. Rick is the best, man. He's so funny. So he goes, I guess once a game, once a practice, Ian will just throw the ball to the other team for no reason. It just happens. Yeah. And he said, I finally went over to Ian the other day in practice and said, hey, I've been coaching you for 52 years. I'm going to give you the best advice I've ever given anybody else. He said, you're wearing a white jersey. They're wearing a red jersey. Don't give it to the team with the red jersey. Fucking Rick, dude.
That's good advice. That's good advice.
I mean, and he said, Ian goes, that's the best you got. And he goes, yep, that's the best I got. So, I mean, I think listen, I'm going to say this because I know you're a big Rick Pitino fan. Like, I do think that he's got the absolute pulse of this team super early and I think they're going to be ahead of schedule because are they going to struggle against bigger teams? Like, I don't think Dylan Darling can do the things that he is supposed to be doing against like a bigger guard, like a Josh Dix, like a Silas Damari Jr. Hell, even like a Braylon Mullins, who's 6'6", and he'll be back playing shooting guard. What if UConn St. John's games breaks out and he has to play major minutes and they just put Jalen Stewart on him? Jalen Stewart can stay in front of him. He's 6'7". You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He played great last night, by the way. So I just think it's one of those things where that's truly their only weakness is I don't think that kid's going to be able to give them the minutes that they want. But I think Ian Jackson is going to be great. I think Dylan Mitchell is probably going to play a little point forward. But the problem with him is you put him in the game in a tight spot and he can't shoot. You just follow him, get extra possession.
Yeah. I'm probably higher on Dylan. I'm probably higher on Dylan Darling. I mean, he had 6 assists, 1 turnover last night again against a bad team, but I get it. I think
it's not a bad team. It's a small team.
I know. I'm going to call him a bad team.
Come on, man. Creighton was a mid-major for years. You're going to really shit on a mid-major?
No. I'm not doing that to anybody. I'm just saying it. I can't put them in my good team list. But
who's a good mid-major in your opinion right now?
A good mid-major?
Yeah.
This is a big homer pick, but I watched Drake yesterday. Their head coach is one of my best friends. I think they're pretty good. But if you're going to go on like that era, like, I mean, I don't know, like in the past, like Siena has been a team that I would put in that category. I mean, obviously Iona when they had Rick. I don't see Quinnipiac. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, I have done very little to no research on Quinnipiac. Let's be very clear. They could be fantastic. From what I saw yesterday, they just wouldn't be in my good team list. But a team that I was hoping was going to be in my good team list this year, probably not anymore, is Xavier. Holy cow. If you're a Xavier fan, God, you got to be thinking,
hey man, just have a good time. Go hang out with the Roll Blob guys at Dana Gardens and have a few musky beers and you'll be all right. Listen, rough. It's like I told you, man, it don't matter. 66-62, 102-60, a win's a win. And they're not making the NCAA tournament anyway. So just build off of this season and try to do the best you can with this. Yeah, I mean, like, there's really nothing else you can say. I think they're going to have a really tough season. I think Providence is going to be pretty good. I do like their team. I know I gave them a little jab earlier with only beating Holy Cross by 10, but only because, and the reason why I do that is because I guarantee you there's some Providence fans who looked at that UConn score and was like, favored by 40. Okay. Just got to Division I, blah blah blah, because it was only like a 13-point game at halftime. So yeah, I mean, like I'm just giving them shit back, but I actually do think the Providence team is going to be pretty good. Yeah, we'll see if like we talked about in the spaces to some of those guys. Kim English has to prove it, man. Like he's got to come in here and apparently they have some really good transfers. How's that going to mix throughout the whole year?
Yeah, I that's probably the one game I didn't get to watch much of at all. So I mean, I saw some of the stats, but again, you can't only look at stats. You can't only look at numbers.
No, you're right.
But
you're 1,000%.
But like, I don't know, man. To only beat them by 10 at home in a year that
in the dunk. Come on, man.
If you think, I mean, you listen to Providence fans, you'd think they should be in the top 25.
You on the Final Four.
Yeah, they're going to challenge for the Big East championship, according to them. So
you listen to Providence fans and be like, "Oh, it's awesome, baby."
I don't know. It's still obviously it's game one. I don't even know who they play next, but I don't know. I just don't know. They have Virginia Tech next. Like, you can't leave in that game with a ton of confidence. Which again, it's early, but I don't know, man. It was just a okay night, right? For the Big East. Like, there's nothing really, like, they did what people thought they were going to do. I obviously we were really hoping that Villanova could find a way to pull it out. They didn't. Now we'll see. We got Butler. Is it Butler tonight?
Butler.
Creighton tomorrow. So.
Yep. I think for me, my takeaway is the league is a little better than I thought it was going in, because I honestly thought Nova was going to get. I fell asleep. I recorded it, watched it this morning, and when I fell asleep, because my son is going to bed earlier, that's a good thing for me. It was 26-13, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, I did one of these. Holy Nova, peace out. The phone goes down on the charger. Locked into Betty Bye. So I just hope Villanova figures it out, because that's another brand. My ultimate not prediction, but what I want from the season, and then we'll get out of here, is I need Georgetown to be good, I need Nova to be good, I need Providence to be good, and I want DePaul to surprise everybody outside of the Big East. Those are the four things that if that happens, I'm fine. If Seton Hall rises up, if Butler is better than they were last year, to me, that's going to be gravy.
Yeah. We'll see.
Don't expect much from Xavier. Kind of like, don't expect Marquette to either drop much or rise much. I think they're going to stay kind of in that 3, 4, 5 range, right? And then UConn St. John's, flip it. I like my squad. Obviously, I'm always going to lean that way. But if someone said to me, St. John's is going to beat UConn 2 out of 3 times this year, maybe. Doesn't mean they're going to win. Doesn't mean they're going to win a national championship, because you kind of know who's got the corner market on that. Market cornered on that. Yeah, you see, I'm dyslexic. I know the words. I just say them in different ways.
I love the confidence. But we will see. I know I'll be at the CHI tomorrow night. Jays and the Coyotes of South Dakota. So we will see. Yeah.
That's a team that's usually pretty decent mid-major.
I have no love for South Dakota. Sorry, I coached at North Dakota State. I can't say anything good about South Dakota. Sorry, I can't.
Bro, you don't coach anymore. It's okay.
I know, but I still it's in my blood. It's in my blood.
Do I need to play the Robin Williams scene from Good Will Hunting? It's not your fault. Just let it go.
Hey, I'm good with South Dakota State. I just can't get down with South Dakota. Just not my deal. But hey, you'd have to.
We're gonna lose you're gonna have to lose the 4 people that are watching us in South Dakota. How dare you?
I know. That's okay.
All right. Hey, I'm gonna do something, because I know people think I don't like these people, and that's just not true. And they're like our competition. But I'm gonna give them, because they did a bunch of mid-major stuff. I got to give kudos to Field of 68 for the marathon YouTube event that they put on, all the different games. Goodman, Douster, Randolph Childress was there. All the different announcers that they had at these games, phenomenal. Just because I have a disagreement with someone or I don't like what someone does, doesn't mean I can't give credit where credit's due. And I absolutely want to give them 1,000% because I love college basketball. And if I can watch it on YouTube at like 10 in the morning, you're good with me. So that was awesome. Really appreciate them doing that and got to give them their kudos. So if you haven't seen that, there's some games on today, I think. I don't even know. But it was a marathon yesterday. So
yeah, it's good.
Hope they do it. Hope they keep doing it.
Well, they're saying next year, 24 hours of hoops.
Love it. Because that used to be the thing. I think ESPN
I was trying to tell Owen about that. Owen's too young, so we'll have to introduce Owen to his first 24 hours of hoops.
24-hour stream. Well,
be awesome.
That's not your boy's not doing 24 hours. I barely can get through one show without yawning. So.
No, they better put some crappy games on early and some crappy games on late, but
that's okay. Basketball is basketball. It's like pizza. Even shitty pizza is good pizza. All right. We're out. That's Casey. I'm Mark. We'll check you next week on the weekly show here on Big East Energy.